If you're a Vietnam veteran, you know the name Chris Noel.
USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
If you're a Vietnam veteran, you know the name Chris Noel. The West Palm Beach native was the voice of Armed Forces Radio in the late 1960s and early 70s. She put her acting career as a Hollywood starlet on hold to serve her country and entertain the troops. These days, when many people her age are planning their retirement, Chris Noel is still working hard for the vets.
Chris ditched Hollywood and hit the airwaves over Armed Forces Radio, a real-life version of the Robin Williams character in Good Morning Vietnam. This was her life from 1966 to 1971.
Hi, love. Welcome, everyone, to Your Date with Chris. And let's get the show rolling with the Dave Clark 5, and you got what it takes.
Chris was asked to go over, and from 1966 to 69, she was there entertaining troops. She was the girl next door. She was the mother surrogate, the sex symbol, the act. There was no one in America better known to those men, no actress, no singer, than Chris Noel.
Chris was the sultry-voiced girl next door on a radio show called A Date with Chris. The media called her America's answer to Hanoi Hannah.
Hi, love. I have a letter here from Spec 5 Frenchie, who's a gunner on a tank with H Company of the 11th Cav. And I'd like to dedicate this to Frenchie and all you fellas of the 11th Cav.
Here she is, Chris Noel.
My walk is changed, my talk is changed. Have you noticed I've been a little rearranged? Are you ready? Are you ready for a woman?
Chris Noel, Cease Fire House, Vetsville. Take one.
Hi, love. I'm Chris Noel in my hometown of West Palm Beach, Florida. I want our veterans and our military to understand how important they are. We are a free country, the United States of America, and we would not be this way if it weren't for you, the military. I love you. I've always loved you. And I just thought I'd talk to you a little bit today and tell you about my life on the beaches in Florida, the Atlantic Ocean that I love so much, and my baton twirling when I was a young girl. And then my modeling school. And then my own modeling school I opened up at 17 until so many people told me I needed to go to New York. I became a Rango girl. I made commercials. I was a cover girl. I had a marvelous career in Hollywood. In 1965, at Christmas time, I was invited to go with celebrities to the hospitals in California where our troops were. And then we walked into the gangrene ward of double and triple amputees. It just tore my heart apart when I saw what war did to our warriors. And they were not very happy when we showed up. However, at one point, Sandy Koufax, he heard this guy in the back yelling, "Hey, Koufax, hey, throw me the ball, Koufax." So Sandy took his ball and he threw it to the one man who asked him for the ball with his only extremity, his one hand, and he caught it. And when he caught the ball, everybody in the room started laughing. And then everything started to become wonderful because they understood that we were there because we loved them. And when I left, I was so numb. And it was like, dear God, please help me do something for these young people. Please help me. And within about, maybe a little over a year, I had an opportunity and I became the first woman since World War II to broadcast on Armed Forces Radio. And at one point I had the #1 radio show in the world.
Hi, love.
Happy Friday, everyone, and especially you, Dave. Hope it's been a good week for you. The only thing about Friday is I'm grounded. No more dates until Monday. Oh, well, I guess we better get this one underway. Let's start off the show with the Swingin' Gentry Singers and Hey, Good Lookin'. Speaking of good looking, if you have a spare photo of yourself lying around, I'm making a collection. Why not put it in an envelope, that is after you jot a note on the back of it, and mail it to me, Chris Noel, care of AFRTS, Hollywood, California. And I'll answer you as soon as I hear from you, okay?
Our next group are the Monkees. Here's a big hit for them in early '67 called A Little Bit Me and a Little Bit You.
It happened because I was dating Jack Jones, the singer, and he was putting in his reserve time at Armed Forces Radio and wanted to know, why are all these women coming in? And they said, we're looking for somebody to put on the radio. And he says, oh, my girlfriend would be great for that. So I got an appointment, and I went, and I got it. And they liked the fact that I was very normal, talking to the troops. And frankly, I was talking mainly to the troops in Vietnam, even though it went all out throughout the world.
You know, many of you fellows have written that you'll be coming through California, Hollywood, on your return from Vietnam or wherever you are throughout the world. And if you would like, drop by the studio and please say hello to me, okay? And in just a moment, we're going to have some music to watch Girls by Andy Williams.
It's the perfect combination. Easy listening and you and AFRTS.
When I first started, it was all called Armed Forces Radio and Television Service. And then I went to Vietnam and I came back and I had a chat with the colonel in charge of Armed Forces Radio. And I said, there's some things I'd like to change if you let me, sir. So we discussed it. I said, first of all, I don't like the music I'm playing. I want to play top 40 music. And he listened, and I said, another thing, I don't think you should call it Armed Forces Radio anymore. I think you should call it American Forces Radio. And they looked at me, everybody in the room, and Colonel says, and who do you think knows more about this, us or you? And I said, me. You? I said, yes, sir, because I was just there and they told me what they wanted and how they felt about things, sir. So it got changed to American Forces Radio and I got to play the music I wanted to play.
You know, in the last few weeks we've been playing the Baby I Need Your Lovin' by Johnny Rivers, which is quite high on the charts. But a few months ago, the Four Tops had the first version of this, and that's what I'm going to play right now. For Jim and Arnie in Trabzon, Turkey, I'd like to play Show Me. In fact, I'd like to dedicate this to every one of you out there listening because you're all number one. Come on, Joe Tech, show me.
So because of all my Vietnam experiences, going to Vietnam, I volunteered with the Department of Defense. In fact, they asked me if I would volunteer. So that means I didn't get paid. But it didn't matter because the joys that I felt meeting these guys out in the boonies, on fire bases, in the hospitals, different places that I would meet them in the jungle sometimes. It was just the most amazing experience. Yeah, I had things that happened. Yeah, I went down in a helicopter. It was a sniper fire. I had a $10,000 bounty on my head. And I went back to Hollywood and I told everyone I knew, please help me find someone that can help me learn songs. I have to do something. I can't just be a person that goes out there and shakes hands all the time. They want more from me. I have to do something. So I learned songs.
Here's a song. It was written by Paul Simon. He, along with Art Garfunkel, wrote the music to The Graduate, Mrs. Robinson, and some other real groovy things. And he wrote this song one day when he was going across the 59th Street Bridge in New York City. And must have been feeling pretty groovy, because that's what he called it. Slow down, you move too fast. You gotta make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy.
How did it work for the most part? Was it coordinated for you?
No, I land in a helicopter. I walk where they want me to walk. And sometimes they built a teeny tiny stage for me. And sometimes I had nothing. I would stand up on top of a bunker and I'd sing a song for them, or I'd stand up on top of a truck or something. It was just, every single moment was impulse. It was all different. I can't say that everything was the same. It wasn't. It was war. You just didn't know what was going to happen the next moment. And I didn't go to just one in a day. I went to several in one day. And then one time I'm about ready, we're coming in. We just land and an officer comes running towards us yelling, "Get her out of here, get her out of here. We've just been hit, get her out."
You must have been scared.
No. I know this is crazy. I asked my mother one time, "Mom, were you fearful for me?" "No." "Why, Mom?" "Because I know that you were going to be taken care of, that God will take care of you." And that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly how my heart felt. I felt, I'll do my best of whatever I can do with my body, my voice, whatever I can do. And I know that these people are protecting me, and I cannot have fear. So I chose not to have fear, except when I went down in the helicopter. I'm not going to lie. I saw it all happening. I was right where I could see the instruments and the guys up front, and I could see them. You know, energy all changed, and I said, "Uh-oh, we are in trouble." And the hydraulic system went out. So we just went straight down and crashed. We just went pew to the ground. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I wasn't scared then, because I was. But one time I was also, when somebody had a trailer, one of the officers, and he let me stay in it for the night. I can remember very early in the morning, I started hearing all this bombing, and I got scared. I laid down on the floor, and then I got out of the trailer as fast as I could, and I go, "What's happening? What's happening?" "Oh, don't worry about it, Miss Noel. Christmas truce is over now, and they're bombing." And when they found out I wanted to go to Vietnam, they used me. They used me good, and it was okay. I wanted to be used. I knew I was making a difference. Boosting morale, yeah. Giving them a moment of what it was like to look at a girl again. Because no matter what anybody says, there were hardly any women in Vietnam. There were the Red Cross girls. There were the nurses. The nurses didn't go anywhere. They stayed in the hospitals. They weren't out in the field and stuff. They were working and staying with the people who were wounded and that were crying and in pain. They were helping them. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing, and I did what I knew I was supposed to be doing. Okay, so I'm in Vietnam, and my escort asked me, he says, "You know, Bob Hope's in Cu Chi, not too far away. Would you like to be in his show?" And I said, "Well, sure."
This is Cu Chi, home of the 25th Infantry, the Tropic Lightning Boys. This is a new base for us and a new base for them, too. They just fought the Kong for this landscape about 6 months ago. We shared our Christmas dinner with Company A of the 1st Battalion. The luscious gal in the now famous miniskirt is the voice of Armed Forces Radio, Chris Noel, the round-eyed Hanoi Hannah. 20 minutes after we finished dinner, these kids were out on patrol a few hundred yards away. 2 VC were killed, 1 escaped.
Here we are, Tucci, known the world over as Zap City. I don't have much news from the States. You all remember the States. You've seen it in those training films. No, I have real good news for you. I want to tell you guys, the country's behind you 50%. And I have good news for you Catholics. It's official now. You can eat Spam on Fridays.
So now, Bob Hope remembers me, and it's time for me to go on stage, and he said really nice things about me. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And the night before, someone had handed me this poem. So I got up there and I read that poem. And when I saw all the people that he brought, man, he had a lot of people. They would bring him out of the hospital for him and put the guys down front and stuff. And I've heard so many stories about guys who went to the Bob Hope show. So I felt very privileged that one time, at least, in Vietnam, I got to be on the Bob Hope show. One time when I came back from Vietnam, I will never forget what it was like getting off the airplane in California and walking from the plane to get into the terminal. You had to go by a fence, just like a wire fence. And there were all these people there saying terrible things to the vets, horrible things. And I'm walking by and I'm listening to all this. And, you know, guys told me that when they came home, they were having a hard time and stuff, if they got a chance to have a leave or something. Anyway, they were just so nasty. I couldn't believe that people could be that nasty to troops. I just couldn't understand it. Why can't you understand that people are willing to give their life for you? And you want to treat them like you treat them? America was horrible at that time. I can go on and on and on about various things, but you know what? You don't need to hear all this. What you really need to know is how important our veterans are when they come back, and how they should be treated with dignity, because that's what they gave to you, was their dignity. And they made a vow that they would give up their life for you. So one time I'm doing a veterans event in Washington, and I go across from the White House to this little park. I think it was called Lafayette, I don't know, I shouldn't say. And just everybody in there was a veteran, and they were all homeless. And I started talking to them, and I was flabbergasted to think right across from the White House were all these homeless people, and most of them were veterans. And I just decided one day I have to open up a shelter. What else can I do? I have to open up a shelter. I didn't know what to do. Somehow or another, made it all happen.
The Vetsville Cease Fire House sits tucked away in a Boynton Beach neighborhood. Inside, you find the mementos of Vietnam and the pain of war. It's written on these faces. But before we delve further into this soldier sanctuary, it's important to meet its founder. Veterans can always use a little support. The ones here in South Florida are very fortunate to have someone like Chris Noel in their corner. She's making things happen. But her biggest tragedy came after the war, when her fairy tale marriage ended quickly and tragically.
This is the fellow that I met in Vietnam, Captain Ty Harrington, and he became my husband. And then he came back, and we were married 11 months, and he put a gun to his head in Nashville and killed himself, and that was pretty devastating.
Oh, Chris.
It was horrible.
Having dealt with the after effects of war personally has allowed Chris to open her heart to vets who are dealing with their own issues.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't, I get enough money from the VA to just move somewhere else. But if I did that, I'd probably end up killing myself. But I get support.
I came up with the name of Cease Fire House first. A movie I did with Don Johnson. They wrote a special part for me in that movie. So my part was, I was the wife of a Vietnam vet that was really going through some hell. And I was having a hard time dealing with it because it was all very scary to me. It was about 79 or 80 that they even diagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder. We're getting better now because there are now judges who understand. And we'll actually help work with some of these vets by sending them to the right place to help them. This is the right place. They live here like it's their home. Everybody here has a little job to do. You either contribute something financially or you do a job. Somebody did this for you, it's your job now to keep it going for the next guy. And that's how I work my program. It's very simple. And I ask again, I'm going to beg you, please understand that these human beings, whether they killed someone or they didn't, they are still warriors. And they need to be respected and loved. I just beg you to take care of them. And they take care of each other the best they can. But the public needs to take care of them too, because they did everything for you,
Well, now we're going to have a medley by Henry Mancini in the chorus. Here's Winter Wonderland and Silver Bells.
I know that it's the holiday season, and I'd like to wish you all the very, very, very best Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's. Be kind, take care of your friends, take care of yourself. And I leave you with a happy holidays and a kiss from Chris. Mwah.
It's time for me to say goodbye. I hope you had a beautiful and blessed Christmas day, and I'm going to give you a very special Christmas kiss. And I'll be back again tomorrow on Tuesday. Bye, love. Walking in a winter wonderland.
You know, there's one thing I didn't tell you. When I got off the plane with my red suitcase and I get in this van, I asked them, I said, why do you have all this netting over the van and where all the windows are? And they said, that's to keep the grenades from coming in. That was my first 15 minutes in Vietnam.
Welcome to Vietnam.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.